Hello and welcome to the United Stand. Marouane Fellaini has apparently, reportedly, snubbed Manchester United for the second time. We know that he was offered a contract that he wasn't happy with just before Christmas, and Mourinho quite openly, publicly stating that he wants him to stay. Apparently a further contract offer has gone in the last couple of weeks from Ed Woodward, and Fellaini has snubbed it again. A lot of people would be interested to see what my reaction to Fellaini leaving Manchester United would be, and it's quite ironic and symbolic, really, which I'll go into in a few minutes, that Fellaini might leave this summer and somebody might leave the United Stand. But I just want to say as well, the Instagram, we're going to do an Instagram Q&A tonight. So whether you're watching the start or the end, Instagram straight after the show, or if you're not watching live, just follow us on Instagram. The link's in the video description. But there's something quite sad about this Fellaini thing. For many years, I've been doing the United Stand, and pretty much all that time, I've never wanted Marouane Fellaini at Manchester United. People say, oh, you hate him and this, that and the other. I don't. It's nothing to do with that. And I just don't like that style of footballer. If we sold Fellaini and then we went and signed Peter Crouch, I don't know what Peter Crouch is like as a person. I don't know what Fellaini's like as a person. I would just be frustrated, because that's not the sort of player I want to see at Manchester United. I don't like long ball. I don't like players who are slow and not very good on the ball and clumsy. I don't like it. It's not what I want to see in a Manchester United shirt. I've seen United play teams like Stoke, and when Fellaini was at Everton in the past, they're very awkward, but they're not what I want to see as a Manchester United tactic. So that's always been my issue with Fellaini. But if I'm totally and utterly honest with you, I don't feel any great satisfaction if Fellaini goes. And I must just say, if we've got a club that's offered him 2 contracts, we've got a manager who's desperate for him to stay. Until he's left and he's wearing another shirt next season, I won't believe he's left anyway. And what I would say, though, for those people who are just hoping he will leave, I would just say, if this was Anthony Martial, Marcus Rashford, and Herrera, whoever, a player I like, and we were in this situation on March the 1st where they turned down 2 contracts and they were out of contracts, I'd be 99.9% sure they're leaving. So there's probably a very big chance that Fellaini will leave. But I do think it's very sad, and I think it's very sad for the reason that all I ever wanted from, well, Moyes wouldn't do it because he signed him, but all I ever wanted from Van Gaal and Mourinho was for them to come in and say, he's not the sort of player Manchester United should have. All the best, Marouane. We'll find you a nice club. We'll get a decent fee for you. Off you go. Best wishes. That's all I ever wanted. I wanted a manager to come in and see what I see, and I think a lot of United fans have seen as well. Not all. A lot of people do like Fellaini, and that is their opinion. I've got nothing against that. But all I wanted was a manager to come in and see that that's not the sort of player that we should have at United. Sir Alex Ferguson would never have had a player like that. We did get linked to him a couple of times, but we get linked to everybody. He would never have signed him. Like, he didn't. It's like when Brian Kidd walked in and said, "What about John Hartson? He was scoring goals for West Ham," and he went, "This is Manchester United. This is Manchester United, and you want me to sign a player like that?" It never would have happened. So I just wanted a manager to do that with Fellaini. And what happened with Fellaini? Van Gaal loved him. Mourinho loved him. Maybe there's a message there that they're not the right men for Manchester United. Although in the case of Mourinho, I would adamantly argue that he is. But he has this obsession with Fellaini that, it's abundantly clear for everybody. So I think it's quite sad if Fellaini leaves, because it's not even that we're getting, for people like myself and other fans who just want him to go because he's not the right sort of player for us. We're not even doing that. He's snubbing us. He's turning his back on us. If our manager got his way, Fellaini would be staying. So there's no victory in it. There's no satisfaction in Fellaini leaving for me, because part of me just thinks, just sign the contract, Marouane. Let Mourinho make whatever mistake I think he's making by making you stay. But I would rather Fellaini stayed now, because I just think it compounds the issue that this is a player that many of us wanted to move on because of the style of that player. Nothing personal, nothing like that. But our manager wants him to stay, but he's still going to go. So it's like Mourinho's getting snubbed by Fellaini. Manchester United are getting snubbed by Fellaini. That's not what I wanted. I wanted the manager to actually realise that type of player is not the right sort of player for us. But he's not. So is he going to go and sign a Fellaini replacement? I don't know. And also, I think as well, when it comes to Fellaini, I feel... Well, let me just take some of your comments before I come back. I think that Fellaini is the end of an era, says Thyroid. It could be the end of a good era. a bad era. Fellaini was holding the club to ransom. Glad club did not give in to his demands, says Louise O'Donoghue. Well, I think we have offered him 2 contracts, but by all accounts, what they're reporting in the media is that he wants a long-term deal. We didn't even give Ryan Giggs longer than a year in his 30s, so why should we give Fellaini? Fellaini was never United quality, but I wish him all the best, says Sophie. Oh yeah, it goes without saying. And Sally Devil Red 7 says, I can't say I'm sad. I don't wish any bad will, but bye-bye Marouane. And Young needs to go as well, says Chris Windle. LVG and Jose love Fellaini. I rest my case, Your Honour. If they are both rubbish, says Adat Rahman. And Alex Ferguson signed Dion Dublin. You know what? Dion Dublin wasn't a bad footballer though. I mean, I'm old enough to remember Dion Dublin. He could play centre back and centre forward, and he wasn't a donkey by any means. He was good in the air, but he wasn't a donkey. Michael Van Gerwen says, Mark, how are you possibly finding a negative in this? You haven't shut up about him leaving for 4 years. Yeah, because I think, Michael, it's not the way I wanted him to go. I wanted him to go because the management realised that he's not right for us. I didn't want him to be. I don't think there's a victory in Fellaini. Well, there is. Obviously, he won't be at the club if he leaves, but he's going because he wants to go. He's not going because our manager wants him to go. Our manager's basically publicly, week after week, begging him to stay, and that's not. So it's a hollow victory for me. And I must just say as well, in relation to Marouane Fellaini, I've got to respect him, to be honest, if he decides to go, because he's had an uneasy relationship with Manchester United fans, whether it's people like myself or people in the live comments who just don't like that style of player, or whether it's those people which, you know, I didn't condone at the time and I don't condone now. There was people at Old Trafford, was it last season, booing him. I mean, we should never do that. So it's not like, you know, he might just think I've had enough. You know, I've had enough. I get a lot of stick at that club and I'm out of contract and I can go and earn a lot of money at a new club where they're going to make me feel welcome. So I respect him for that. I do respect him for that. But I must say I am quite surprised he's going to go, because you've got a manager like Jose Mourinho managing Manchester United begging you to stay and you decide to go. It's an interesting one. We'll have to wait and see. I accept it, Mark, but still a victory. He is leaving, says Louise O'Donoghue. And Darmian should follow, says David Tapgun. I think Darmian will go as well. And imagine 4 more years of Fellaini, says Vinnie Chapman. Well, that's it. We've had 4 years of him. It's been a long 4 years. Why can't United play like City and Liverpool, says Free Soul. And Arsenal are 2-0 down to City. Well, we knew that was going to happen. Arsenal Fan TV and chill then, as Regal says. I think Wenger was desperately trying to get it snowed off, wasn't he? There is a watch along on Match Football, by the way, with Xander. If you are interested in going to watch that, please do. It's on That's Football. Just search for That's Football and go and give it a watch. But what I wanted to add as well is, in relation to Fellaini leaving, I think it sort of made me think this afternoon about the United stand. And look, my plan was to leave the United stand this summer. That was set in stone last September, that this was going to be my last season of doing it, and the United stand wouldn't end, but that was the plan. And a lot of that was to do with, well, for people who know Drawty, he's sort of come off social media. Social media, especially Twitter in particular, is just vile, absolutely vile. And you know, I've become quite thick-skinned because you have to, but it's still drip away, and it becomes unpleasant. And I felt that this summer that would be it for me. It isn't going to be it. It isn't going to be it, because there's so much has happened with the United stand this season. Flex coming on board, trips to Munich, Sevilla, and all sorts going on. It's a really exciting time, and you know, I wouldn't want to jeopardise the United stand just because of my own personal feelings. But what it did get me thinking is that the United stand has changed a lot because of you. There's a point to this. The United stand has changed a lot because of you. Because when we started it, or when I started it, because I've always been on screen on the United stand, although people do help out behind the scenes. When I started this, it effectively was what I would call a vlog. It was pretty much for a long time me just going live after games and giving my opinion, and literally giving my opinion on whatever. Whether it's Fellaini being rubbish, right, that's enough, Van Gaal's got to go. And And it was always an opinionated vlog where live comments were involved, and that was what the United Stand was always about. But I think what's happened this season in particular is because of the growth. You know, we passed 100,000 subscribers. Lots of things have been going on. We're really close to 200,000 subscribers now, and it's made me realise that we have a responsibility on the United Stand. Not you, you know, your Skype calls, your fan cams, your live comments, brilliant, because it's just pure 100% opinion. But it got me thinking that there is a responsibility, certainly on my part, to clarify when I'm giving my opinion and when I'm giving opinion of the United Stand. And I think as we go into the next phase, that's really important, because we, you know, definitely have been guilty of going over the top sometimes, but that's because straight after a game you sort of do feel like that. But I do notice things on social media, and I do notice your comments, and one thing that really does stand out to me, and it doesn't bother me because I think it's actually right, is that the United Stand has still got a bit of a reputation for being, I see words like the negative stand and this and that and the other. And I think that's really unfair, because you've got Flex, who's out at the ground interviewing fans, not giving his opinion, giving theirs. You've got the Skype shows, you've got everyone on the live comments. And I think it's a legacy of how I used to treat it as a vlog. And we're not like that anymore. We're not the negative stand. We're the United Stand. We don't applaud players when they put in a bad performance and they embarrass the badge, but when they do, we give it a positive thing. And actually, you know what? I'm so adamantly behind Mourinho. Some people think I'm in love with him, you know. So I don't think there's a lot to be negative about at the moment, but I do take it on board. I do listen to a lot of what people say, and I just think it's important, especially for the newer people to the United Stand, to understand where this sort of legacy of the negativity comes from. And literally, it is down to you lot, because this started off as a vlog and it's grown into something that none of us ever envisaged. You know, biggest Manchester United independent fan channel in the world. I know Manchester United are on YouTube at the moment, which is fantastic, but that's Manchester United officially. I know there's another Manchester United fan channel, but they're not independent. They're run by a media company. We are the biggest independent Manchester United fan channel. And nothing against any of those other channels, by the way, but what I'm saying is, being independent meant that we started off as a vlog and just being independent and saying what we think. And we're having to adapt every month with new shows and new ideas. And that's down to you lot. But one thing I will always say is that 100%, it can never, ever, ever, ever be, and I've always said this, I don't want journalists coming on and giving their opinion, because I've got a lot of time for a lot of journalists. I love Daniel Taylor from The Guardian. I like Neil Custis from The Sun. Even though he's from The Sun, I think he's a really good Manchester United journalist. And there are others. And I love having a chat with them, and I've met them before. But I would never bring them on this show, because that's not what the United Stand is. Real fan opinion by the fans is what the United Stand is all about. If you want to listen to pundits, ex-professionals, you know where to find them. If you want to just chat with fans and say what you think, that's what the United Stand's all about. So that's a little bit of clarity there, and I think it's important to give you that clarity, because some of you are very new, but also just around the Fellaini thing, because people will think Fellaini to quit Manchester United, I'm going to be having a party. And maybe a year ago I probably would, but I have changed slightly, and I am aware that there is two sides to every story in this. And I do want Fellaini to go. I do 100% want him to go. I'm not saying that I don't, but I didn't want him to go in these circumstances where Mourinho's begging him to stay and he's snubbing us. And also, it was never personal. It was always about the player. The player. That's why I've got a little picture of him, little Fellaini doll in front of me, because it's about the style of the player and nothing else. Oh, a lot of nice live comments as well. All I would say about that is, look, you know, I wouldn't do this if it wasn't for you lot anyway. I've said that so many times. I wouldn't. And the thing is, people will say, oh, you're only on YouTube for the money. I wish. It's not that good. And also, you're only doing this because you've got an ego. And, oh, you know, this, that and the other. As Isaac says there, this is a brilliant community, but we've been doing it for 3.5 years. And from the very first show, we had live comments. We've always been a live channel. Loads of people do live content now, and that's brilliant. But when it's only about the last 18 months that people started going live. It was all pre-recorded. No one would do live, and we were always live. And the only reason I've ever done live is nothing to do with algorithms or anything like that. The reason I went live is because I hate pre-records. I hate it because I can't do pre-recorded content, because I'll start off and I'll go, hello and welcome to the nightstand, blah, 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 and literally I'll go like that. I can't do it. I don't believe in it. I can't feel it just looking at a camera, even though I'm just looking at a camera now. I don't feel the same as when I'm looking at the same camera, but I know loads of other people are watching and interacting. It's a community, like everyone says, and I can't. So a lot of the United Stand's, well, I would actually say all of the United Stand's success comes down to you lot, because I can't do what I do without you. Drawty wouldn't design all these graphics if he didn't have all you lot involved in your live comments and everything like that. Flex can't go to grounds and interview people if you lot aren't there. So it is your channel, and that's always been the case. And we do have a great community, an absolutely fantastic community, and every single one of you are part of it, whether you're watching live or not. Look. Durrani's just made me laugh. Look at that bold fraud. Thinks he's the best manager in the world, and then he used "see you next Tuesday." Look, it's frustrating with United at the moment. It is frustrating. Man City are going to be worthy and credible Premier League winners, and we are going to have to sit down, take our medicine, and take a big fat L. If you didn't watch the video at 1 o'clock though, lots and lots of optimism in that. I think it's the eye in the top right hand corner. Basically, you've got 3 choices tonight. It's a very, very short show tonight for 3 reasons. One, I wasn't even going to do a show because I did a very good show at 1 o'clock. Probably one of the best shows I've ever done. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and it's such a shame that we couldn't do it at 8 o'clock, because it's a brilliant show. It was interactive and I loved it, and it was Manchester United's dream team next season. It's realistic. We're not putting Ronaldo in there. It's really good. If you didn't see it, go and watch it. I think it's called Manchester United's Dream Team 2008. Watch it. It was brilliant. 20 minutes long. So you can go and watch that, or you can queue it up. You need a pen and paper, really. You can do that. You can go and watch that, or you can go over to That's Football. Just type in That's Football. It's live at the moment. Sanders doing a watch along, and we are doing daily content on there at the moment. I'm doing a lot of shows around lunchtime, so make sure you subscribe to that. Or if you're on Instagram, I'm going to end this show and I'm going to do a Thursday night Q&A, because I like it. I like it. We did it a couple of weeks ago, and I like doing the Pratik. You see, he says the 1 PM show was absolute quality. I think it's one of the best bits of content we've done on the United Stand in a long time, and we do a lot of good content because of you lot. So make sure you watch that 1 PM show, even if it's a bit later on. Just give it a watch. But the link to Instagram is in the video description. Click it, follow us on the United Stand, and get your questions in, because I'm going to do half an hour or so Q&A with you on Instagram. We are trying to grow a bit on Instagram as well. So yeah, get over to Instagram, give us a follow, and give us a Q&A. You'll get to see the green screen behind me. Lucas Taylor's made a contribution. That's fantastic. He says, Mark, you're a gentleman. I respect you and the work. Look, I think, you know what? I was a bit of a... I'm going to give you something here, and I'll give you more of this on the Q&A, because I know there's some difficult questions people are going to ask me. I'm going to be very, very honest to you. I was a bit of a twat when I started doing YouTube. I was just so opinionated. I just used it really as an opportunity to go live when I was frustrated after a United game and vent. And I never expected this to happen. And you've moulded me and this channel into what it is. You know, I was very in people's faces. I did used to just say what I think, and I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot doing this, and I don't get involved in arguments with other fan channels, Twitter accounts, or anything anymore, because actually, if you fall down to the level of stupid people, they've got lots of experience in stupid arguments, and I'm not really in for that. So all I want to do is do what we've been doing for the last year, which is not getting involved in any of that, and building our community around the club that we love, and you know, having that interactivity, and that's all I'm interested in. Look, we're going to do some stuff over the next few months around trolling and bullying on social media, because it's a disgrace, and it really is a disgrace. You know, I've had a couple of friends in the last 2 months who've been involved with the United Stand who won't go on social media anymore. It's absolutely stressed them out. They've been under doctors. But people think it's really funny to call people a nonce and stuff like that on Twitter because they're hiding behind a keyboard. It's disgraceful. The stress and conversations I've had with 2 people over the last 2 months is disgusting. And we, as a channel and a community, will do something about it. I've got a couple of ideas, because this community is the best community. It's a brilliant community of Manchester United fans, and we're very strong together. We used to call ourselves the United Stand Army, didn't we? We did a couple of naughty things under that. But anyway, I'm talking too much. This is for the Q&A. I'm going to end the show. Thanks everyone for watching. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. We're getting very close to 200,000 subscribers. We've got a preview at 1 o'clock tomorrow. I'm ending now. I'm going to Instagram for a Q&A. You can come there to me, or you can go to That's Football and watch the watch-along of Arsenal Man City, or you can watch the brilliant video from 1 o'clock. Or you can do all three. Just have them all up. I'll see you in a minute on Instagram. Thanks for watching. Or 1 PM tomorrow on the preview. Or the 1 PM show, which is the best show we've done in ages. Or you can go and see Xander.